With winter settling in, the sight of the table will warm up Chelsea fans. Looks like they'll be top for Christmas. Their gift, 6 changes from the draw with Real Madrid. Sam Kerr is on the bench, all change up front. And Fran Kirby starts for Emma Hayes' side. As for Reading, it was a tough start for Kelly Chambers. Her side, though, unbeaten in the last 3 in all competitions. And she's gone with the same 11 that beat Spurs last time out. Emma Harris, the captain for this one. And these two ranked first and second for the number of changes they make, explaining today's teams even. The managers with Jess.
Emma, 6 changes to the team that drew with Real Madrid in midweek. How much is this a case of trying to keep the team fresh after that away game in the Champions League?
I don't know if it's just that. I mean, we have a large squad and everyone's been training at a top level, and I think if you do that on a daily basis, it makes it a lot easier for changes to happen. I think everybody's in a good place. I've been impressed with the quality of the depth, and you know, it's up to players to make that impression in game day, and it's much in the same way they are in training.
Kelly, you've named an unchanged side from the last time out in the WSL. Is that a sense that you're happy with how the team's been performing in recent weeks?
Well, yeah, I thought the girls were outstanding last week, but obviously we've been hit with flu, and I've only just started to get a few players back from that now. Obviously you can see we got a full bench tonight, but you can see the likes of Emma Mitchell, Rachel Rowe, Tash Dowry, they're all coming back in the fold now after having that flu. So, but yeah, look, the girls did well last week, and I felt that they deserved to step up again and play.
We've already seen your Manchester rivals both drop points today in the Manchester derby, so how much is this a chance to capitalise on that and hopefully extend your lead at the top of the table?
Yeah, I think so. I think there is an opportunity to do that, but you know, some of the battles we've had with Reading over the years, I always think that Reading is almost a derby game for us. So we know how tricky derby games are, and we're still going to have to be at our best.
And today you're up against a Chelsea side having won 8 straight games in the WSL. How important will your defensive performance be today?
Yeah, we need to be strong. Look, we know what we're going to face. Obviously, I know Chelsea have made quite a few changes for the game today, but they've still got quality everywhere across the pitch. And for us, it's just making sure that we maintain our performances. Like, we've been playing really, really well the last couple of weeks, so we need to maintain that. And look, we've obviously looked at Chelsea, look where their threats are, and we just need to make sure that on the day we perform. We're hard to beat, and we're defensively strong, but I think we can go and threat them as well.
If anyone knows this Chelsea side, it's Kelly Chambers, good mates with Emma Hayes. They ring each other up all the time. I don't know how much that happens in the run-up to the match as well, but they have had the number of Chelsea before, haven't they? What's their mentality going into this one?
I think, like Kelly just said there, just be hard to beat and have that threat and have that confidence. They've been on a good form. I think the relief of having that break away from Leicester now, I think they're 7 points clear of them. They can go there today, really, and just go and have fun and express themselves, because in theory, everyone's thinking they won't get a result. So when you're in the changing room, you know that. Actually, then it works in your favour. Just go and express yourself and enjoy the game. And you saw the surface, it's cold, they've made changes. Kelly Chambers are going, this is an opportunity here if you take it.
Although, you know, with Emma Hayes' side, they always are up for games, aren't they? That's what she drills into them. The difference, though, she talked about it there, the players that Reading have got back, and then you look at that Chelsea squad, the changes she can make. That's where Chelsea is so strong this season, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. When you can still have Lauren James on the bench and Sam Kerr and Guru Wright and these names that are sat on the bench now ready to come on, it just shows the strength and depth in the squad that they can afford to do that. I mean, but she did go to say there that it's on merit. They've been training well, training's been good, and they've earned their places. So obviously Beth and England coming to the side today will be looking to get on the score sheet and obviously prove their worth within the Chelsea side.
Are you ready for your Christmas quiz question? When was the last time Chelsea lost at home, and do you know who it was against?
I know, because it was against Brighton.
Yeah, your other half was playing in that
I should
one.
know that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, good. Well done on getting that one right.
Yeah.
Tick. But it's phenomenal, their home record, isn't it?
It is, and you know what? When we went there from Staines to Kings Meadow, it felt really different, and it felt like home straight away for Chelsea. And like you said, look at it, you know, the win ratio, 73% there. They've made it a fortress, and you know, that mentality of going there as an away team, you think, I don't want to go to Kings Meadow, and that's probably sometimes where you hear Emma Hayes, we prefer to play there than at Stamford Bridge, because that is their home.
You see, everybody's talking about they need to move to bigger stadiums and all this to get more fans in, but you can see just off that win record why it's a fortress and why she definitely wouldn't want to move from there. So it's understandable. Bit of a catch-22 for the league, but you can see why Emma Hayes probably wants to stay there.
But that's the growth, isn't it, though? Because they max out Kingsmeadow and then they move on to the next step and the next step. And
yeah, for me, they've got to look to do that. It's the ambition of the club, surely, that you want to be able to get as many fans in the stadium and build and grow the game, grow the revenue for the club and also grow the way the game's going.
We'll look at the changes in a minute, but one of those ever-presents in Sophie Ingalls. She's someone you wanted to highlight ahead of this one.
I love her, I do. So I think she gets underlooked by all the glamour of the attacking flair of Chelsea, but someone who, you know what you're going to get, is like a silent assassin, doesn't say a lot, but does her job really, really well, works hard, reads the game really well. And I think her in-possession play is brilliant, sees it and then just goes, you know what, I'm going to give it to somebody else. And it's just the simple things. And she never lets you down, never lets you down. And when she played, I was like, she went up 50,000% in my mind of how good she was. I didn't realise how good she was till I trained and playing with her every day. And I think for all the signings Chelsea have made, I bet if you ask Paul Green and Emma Hayes, she'd be well up there with signings that they've made for Chelsea.
I see, is that a knowing nod of someone that might have played against her?
Playing against her, I'm knowing at it, but I'm just thinking of her in terms of being a training as well. I can imagine she's just one of those that gives 120% in every training session, and that then brings the level up of training for the players around you, and then obviously playing on the pitch. That's why you can see it week in, week out. She's top quality.
She's one of those then that Chelsea have consistently relied upon. Emma Hayes has spoken about Niamh Charles this week, talking about her being a future England captain. This just shows the players she's able to bring in, blend and bring through at Chelsea.
Yeah, I think sometimes I think why is Emma saying that?
Why is Emma saying that?
It is a message to other people, but also it's a message to Niamh Charles. I have faith in you. I have confidence in you. Step up. We need you to go to another level. And I think she has. She's improved tenfold. But there's still a lot of elements into her. I remember watching her clips at Liverpool, why they signed her. And I think she's worked defensively, but I still think she can give so much more going forward. I still want more from her. And I think that's the little Emma Hayes, little nudge that interviews are not just for us, they're for players, for England managers potentially, or anyone else listening. It's to make a hidden agenda message, and I think that's what she's done.
Especially what you say about the player as well, to give her that bit of a push, bit of ambition, bit of a confidence boost that, look, I've got your back as your manager, I believe in you that you can do that. Now continue to show me on the pitch.
We've seen her do it with Lauren James, haven't we, as well, and the way that she's brought her in last season, not so, bringing her through, and this season too, just showing her what she can be.
I think with Lauren James, it's a case of getting her healthy in a position. We've all known for so long that this is probably our most talented England player since Kelly Smith. Really believe that. But there's no rush for her. It was always about getting her fit and healthy and then giving her a platform to go. And there's no need to play her week in, week out, build her in. But Emma Hayes is at a luxury where she's got that squad that she can. Maybe if Lauren James was at another team, she would have to play every week because you need your best players on the pitch. But Emma has the squad depth that every manager in the league would dream of. So she's lucky in that aspect.
When you look at where they are in the league and then you look at them in the Champions League too, I mean, she's talked, there's always a target, the Champions League as well as the League too. Is she perhaps today resting, if you're thinking about a couple of key Champions League matches coming up?
Well, that's something probably I think we would have said looking at the side going into it. She says differently in her interview, and that it's obviously on merit and that it's a rotation, but it's earned. Potentially, yeah. I think she obviously sees something that we don't. She sees the players training in, day out, and shows, the qualities that they've got in a game like today against Reading. They can go on, they can express themselves, and, show really what they're capable of ahead of these Champions League games, maybe to give herself another little bit of a headache before the next two games. And
that all comes back full circle to what you were saying about actually making those players think they are that deserved place in the team. That's the top four then. If we go down to the bottom four, if you take Leicester out of it, I know, again, maybe family ties or not, currently playing at Leicester, how difficult is it for those teams around the bottom? Do you see that they're sort of being cut adrift at the moment?
In terms of from the top, yeah, I think it's definitely looking at three different leagues. I think at the minute you've got obviously the top four, you've got the middle in terms of Spurs, West Ham floating around. But then at the bottom, I think you've got teams at the bottom who are leaking and conceding far too many goals. I mean, Brighton have conceded the most in the league so far. Leicester really struggling. They haven't got that out-and-out goal scorer. The quality within the side potentially isn't good enough to be able to compete with those teams around them. And then Reading, I think, of the team that are scoring, you know, in the last 15 minutes of games, they're showing their capability to stay in games, and they're really holding on. But they haven't quite managed to develop that squad depth that those top 3 teams have got. They, you know, if they get injuries, they can look to the bench, they can look to bring people in to really bring them on a little bit. Whereas the teams round the bottom 3-4, shall we say, haven't really got that luxury.
One of those players that they've brought on, she was captain last time out, Emma Harris. She's been at the club since she was 8 years old. She talks about the delight of, you know, leading her team out onto the pitch. Does this show all that Reading are about, these players they can develop?
Yeah, I mean, look, she's 20 and she's captain. And I think sometimes when you give a player the captain's armband, that added kind of responsibility, not pressure, is a massive confidence boost. And actually, maybe she's saying, actually, Kelly Chambers, I'm giving you this to give you that confidence, because she's a difference with keeping them up at times. Now they've got that cushion now. But when you're giving it, players step up with the armband and it gives them that nudge. And you've got to be smart as a manager who to give it to. Yeah, definitely. And for Emma as well, she's coming back from a long-term injury. She did a PCL, she's been out. She then got re-injured again. So for her, it's a bit of a galvanisation, you know, with her part of the season, that she's got a little bit of a point to prove as well. So, as you say, give her the captaincy, give her a little bit of a nudge, but also in herself, she's be taking on that responsibility that she wants to lead the team into staying in the WSL. I think as well, like, again, I'm going to go back to my response. When I was captain, it made me forget less about my game and helped me organise, which actually made my game better because I was less anxious about playing. Because, you know, you have to take, you know yourself, you have to organise other people or help. And maybe with that, it takes the focus off injuries or stresses or anything else. You can just go and perform them because you have to be responsible.
Always our skipper. Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. And in terms of, you say Kelly Chambers as well, from that, she's done really well with, you know, building the squad she's got. She's director of women's football there, but the recruitment from her as well, as you can see that she's having to recruit from within, so it's really good that she's seen that in her and, you know, can give her the opportunity.
Reading will put up a fight, but it's very much home is where the 3 points are for this Chelsea side. February 2021, the last time they lost at home. Reading have got the worst away record in the league. Imagine the right royal knees up should they turn them over.
And here's Rose. What a chance for Reading! And what a goal for Deanne Rose!
Funny old game, eh? Exactly a year ago, Reading pulled off one of the shocks of the season. Can they stop Chelsea equalling a club record 9th successive WSL win? And after this one is done, why not rank the top motorway services with Arsenal's Jen Beattie? Yes, that and more on 3 Players and a podcast, available now via your usual podcast providers. Cold, snowy, that's one way to keep your face warm down at Kings Meadow. Although firm Whelan, the home form of this Chelsea team will get them all hot under the collar, won't it?
Yeah, you've got to wonder really what Reading are going to be able to do today to be able to stop this Chelsea side. I think even with the changes they've made, they're going to be very strong. They're going to be difficult to beat. Frank Kirby's looked really good since coming back from her injuries. So Reading will have to keep it tight today. And obviously, as you know, they said, Kelly Chambers said before, they're going to look to maybe hit them on set pieces, hit them on the counter and try and get a chance here or there.
I'm Reading and Kelly Chambers saying, try to spoil the party. No, realistically, everyone expects Chelsea to win the game, but I'd say the changes, are they going to be fluid? The weather, it's cold. Sometimes some players don't fancy it. This is an opportunity for Reading. They've got the gap from the bottom, 7 points from Leicester. Let's go and see if you can spoil the Christmas party for Chelsea at home.
You two playing this one now, what would you have? Snood, gloves?
I'd be in the changing room warm. I wouldn't be playing.
Oh, I think I've tweaked something, Gaffer.
Yeah,
I can't go on. I can't go on.
Exactly.
All right, Chelsea up against Reading then. Our second match of the day after Arsenal's win earlier on today at Aston Villa. This one then set to warm us up, which is handy because they've got ice in their veins, our commentary team. Jackie Oatley alongside Sue Smith.
Hello, good evening.
you, Caroline. And good evening. Welcome to this rather snowy, slightly chilly corner of Kingston upon Thames in southwest London. It's the home of the 5-time Barclays WSL champions Chelsea. It's a hostile fortress where the hopes of the visiting party so often are swept away. But Reading looking to embrace the challenge and the conditions this evening and cause another upset, perhaps. Very sweet that some of the players have gifted their jackets to the mascots tonight because it is so chilly for them. The players having done their warm-ups and are ready to go. The blood not quite pumping as much for those poor mascots who could have chosen a warmer evening, couldn't they, to be able to come and do their thing, but still a pleasure to be here at any time. Well, looking at the team news for tonight, the Chelsea manager Emma Hayes has led her side to all 11 of their major trophies. Goalkeeper Anne-Katrin Berger is aiming for her 50th clean sheet in a Chelsea shirt. Defensive rock Millie Bright is one of 2 2022 Ballon d'Or nominees, along with striker Sam Kerr, who's on the bench tonight. Serbia midfielder Jelena Cankovic comes in for her first WSL start. Guru Reiten gets a rest. Fran Kirby was born in Reading, came through their academy. Sweden international Johanna Rytting-Kanerud comes into the starting lineup. Well, there's a rich array of international talent on the Chelsea bench this evening. Australia's superstar Sam Kerr is available to call upon if required. Pernilla Harder is out for a significant period with a hamstring injury. Kelly Chambers' Reading side are improving gradually, unbeaten now in their last 3 games in League and Cup. Northern Ireland goalkeeper Jackie Burns keeps out stalwart Grace Maloney once again. Former Chelsea defender Deanna Cooper partners Wales international Gemma Evans, who's outstanding in their victory last season. Belgium's Justine van Havermaet is the midfield anchor. Amalia Eikeland's the only Reading player who's played in every minute of the WSL this season. 18-year-old Tia Primmer, now an established regular in the side. Another homegrown player is Emma Harries, and she makes her 50th appearance for Reading and once again captains her team. Former England striker Natasha Dowie is on the bench along with regulars Rachel Rowe and captain Emma McCandy. All 3 have been ill with flu. Canada international Deanne Rose out long-term with an Achilles injury. Sue Smith's all wrapped up and ready to go. Who are we looking out for tonight, Sue?
Completely. For Chelsea, I've gone for Millie Bright because on the Saturday just gone, she'd signed for Chelsea in 2014. She seems like she's been around for so long, and she goes from strength to strength internationally and at club level. The occasion just never ever phases her. Whatever competition she's playing in, she just approaches it the exact same way. She's such a winner, defensively strong, and the way that she builds from the back is superb. And then for Reading, I've gone for Lily Woodham, because she's been player of the match in the last couple of games. She's real young, up-and-coming talent, really making an impact. Great left foot, really good set-piece delivery, which I think could be pivotal tonight. When she's on the ball, she's really tidy. I think this is going to be a huge test for her, but I'm sure she's certainly up to that.
She's going to be looking forward to kick-off, I would have thought, when the players get a chance to actually run around. Those 2 very good friends off the pitch, and Kelly Chambers has talked about Emma Hayes as being something of a mentor for her, both of them being working mums, of course. And Chelsea ready to go. Our referee, by the way, is Kirsty Dowell from Kent tonight. And the players continue to make a stand against all forms of discrimination, and the captains have asked to wear the One Love armband. And we're off. It's Chelsea versus Reading. Chelsea in their traditional blue home kit. And it's Reading looking to make a positive impact from the start tonight and try to catch Chelsea cold. All the stats pretty much stacked in favour of the 3-time-in-a-row champions. Sue, what do Reading need to do?
Well, I think first and foremost they've got to be defensively solid, work really hard off the ball, be organised, and I think when they do go forward and they do get those opportunities, they've got to take them. But you can see straight away then it's just about, can we get at Chelsea from the off, can we turn them, and that's what they did.
And here come Reading, trying to be really positive from the outset. Ball into the danger area as well, picked up by Anne Havermart. Here's Beth England getting her opportunity tonight. She's had to be so patient on the bench. It was, as we've been hearing from Caroline in the studio, exactly 1 year ago today that Reading sent shockwaves through the Barclays WSL with that 1-0 victory over Chelsea. That win propelled Reading up to third after 9 games, well, a year on. Rather lower down the table after was another poor start to the season, but they really have picked up in the last few games. Unbeaten in 3 now, and really something to build on after a fine victory over Tottenham in the league last time out.
Yeah, I think not only the results, I think the performance as well. I think that's something that they'll take that into this game, that sort of belief and way of playing.
It was in the 4th minute that Deanne Rose broke from her own half and the length of the pitch. Unfortunately for her and for Reading and for Canada, Rose out for possibly the season with an Achilles injury, a horrible injury for a sports person to have.
Yeah, it's horrible, and like I say, she's a huge loss. I think when I spoke earlier about if Reading want to get at Chelsea on the counter, break quickly, she was key for that.
Well, you can hear Kelly Chambers, a Reading manager, right underneath her saying, get up the field, get up the field. Wants them to be positive. And you just wonder, is there a shout for a penalty there against, or in favour of Emma Harries perhaps? Or play on. We don't have VAR, of course, so there certainly won't be one. We heard the shouts from the dugout of Reading right in front of us. And there wasn't much of a reaction from Emma Harries, in fairness.
There wasn't, and I always look for that. I always look to see what does the player do. She got straight back up.
The referees also sometimes go off player reaction. They'll admit that privately. It's the obvious thing to do, isn't it? Anyway, here's Niamh Charles for Chelsea. Looking for an early breakthrough here with Beth England lurking ominously in the centre. Here's Cuthbert in towards England. And Burns got there. She got a punch to it still. Off the line. Trollsgaard caught in possession by England. Action at both ends of the field at Kingsmeadow in the early stages. It might be quite a high-tempo game, just because the players really want to get moving and they don't want to be be slowly in possession tonight, do they?
Well, Reading started well, and you could see that's their intention from the off. Can we put pressure on Chelsea? But we know the quality that Chelsea have, and they showed that with the delivery into the box. And Beth England, her good movement, the way that she's good in the air, gets in between defenders quite well. But Reading managed to defend it.
It was a really seismic shock last season, that 1-0 victory. It was at Reading's ground, it has to be said. It was the second of 5 WSL wins in a row for Reading. And then they didn't win again after that for 14 between February and October, when they were a goal down against Leicester until the 90th minute, and turned it around with 2 goals from Rachel Rowe. So important that they ended that dreadful run of form, and it seems to have provided something of a springboard for them in recent times. Here come Reading once again with Harries. Eikeland. Still not fully cleared as far as Van Havermaat. Here's Woodham, player that Sue picked out before the game. Very promising young Wales international. Bryson. Eikeland, a key part of the Reading side. Possibly heralded as much as other players, but played every single minute, the only one to do so. Van Havermaet, the Belgium international. A dink over the top for Eichland. Defending by Niamh Charles, who her manager has been raving about in recent times. And again, somebody who's not particularly heralded in her side. But let's have a look at that Chelsea chance once again. This is how close they came.
Yeah, I think Evans as well, actually, to read the situation. As the ball gets put in a decent area, you can see the goalkeeper comes out, gets something on it. Beth England puts the challenge in, but I just think what Evans does so well is getting on the line. And then this is obviously the penalty shout earlier. There's nothing in that. It was Cuthbert on Harris. It was really soft, and you could see that she got up straight away. So like you mentioned, player reaction, that's why.
One or two other players we could possibly think about who might not have reacted like that for exactly the same amount of contact. Well, this is a very positive start from Reading. Here's Woodham. And the offside flag is up over the far side.
Certainly looking to get the ball out wide though, Reading, aren't they? Get deliveries into the box. They're certainly putting numbers into the box as well. Committing players forward.
It is a bitterly cold evening. We're not going to talk about the weather too much. You can see it's snowing. It's almost Christmas. It's December in England. What do we expect? Hoping for an end-to-end match to warm the cockles of your hearts, and that's a free kick for Chelsea. Do you feel goals in this?
Yeah, definitely. I actually watched Chelsea against Leicester, so I had plenty of goals there. And they were just ruthless and clinical. And then I know they played midweek in the Champions League, and Emma Hayes certainly wasn't happy with the performance. They'll be looking to turn that around.
Evans with the clearance. Woodham. It's Chelsea unbeaten in 12 games in all competitions since that opening day defeat in the WSL at Liverpool. That's 8 league wins in a row ever since then. And so good to see Emma Hayes back in charge after missing 6 games, 4 of them in the WSL due to a hysterectomy. Denise Reddy and Paul Green did pretty well in her absence. It's great when you have a quality backroom staff like that, not to mention a lot of senior players who can almost self-manage. But she knew they were in good hands, and I'd say that she was able to relax, but did manage to take time off knowing that her side was winning every game. Here they come, and here's Fran Kirby. Danger for Reading. Good movement from England. Ingles there too. For Ingle. Reading getting players behind the ball, getting the blocks on in, and that's a corner for Chelsea. Chelsea don't mind scoring goals from corners, do they? Neither do Arsenal. 4-1 winners in our afternoon offering for you at Villa Park. Chelsea with the corner, plenty of blue shirts in the box, plenty of pink ones too. That'll be a goal kick.
Yes, the decent delivery into the box. You can see Millie Bright gets the initial header, the initial contact. Just go out for a goal kick.
Picked up by Chelsea once again. Here's Cankovic, a Serbia midfielder, looking to make her mark. So too this player, the Sweden international, Britin Kanerud. 18-year-old Tia Primmer battling it away, but hasn't managed to clear it. Eventually away by Cooper. Britin Kanerud. And the defensive rearguard action by Reading after that early 1-goal lead last season. They really were outstanding. And now here's Emma Harries for Reading. defending by Eriksson.
Just real positive play there from Harris. We know she's aggressive, she's quick, she wants to face forward and have a go. She'll run the channels. You know, she's up against Eriksson and wants to go 1v1 against her, but this is really good defending. You've got to time that really well, and she does.
Eriksson, the player with the captain's armband, but really there are so many leaders in this Chelsea side, international captains everywhere you look. And they have some defending to do here. A lot of tall players on their side. Primmer trying a look from distance. Well, she can score from there, not on this occasion.
Yeah, she can, and why not? You know, try and test the goalkeeper. You know, she's a confident young player. She just provides a real energy. But as the ball gets cleared to her, you see what she's trying to do, just get it back into an area, but quite get the execution right.
They do have such a fine academy at Reading. Emma Harries, Tia Primmer's come through, Grace Maloney too, and somebody called Fran Kirby, whatever happened to her? Speaks very, very highly of her time at Reading, where she was developed. Absolutely loved it there. Wasn't really looking to move, but she was just so talented that she had to go somewhere where she was winning trophies and playing with players of her calibre and playing on the international stage. She moved after the World Cup in Canada 2015. And look at those stats. So many stats. And here she is, once again, looking to cause some damage to her former side. Excellent defending. Hearts in mouths just for a moment after Van Havermaet slid in.
It's nearly perfect timing, that, wasn't it? Frank Kirby getting in beyond, and she just manages to find space, and you can see she's just looking for that cutback to Sophie Ingle, who's just hanging around the edge of the area, but good defending from Reading again.
It's Harries once again. Has Wade in the centre. The impression that she's really grown in stature, Emma Harries, and is relishing wearing the captain's armband for a hometown club, and a special night for her tonight as well. She had the armband against Tottenham, which she probably enjoyed, being a lifelong Arsenal supporter, especially the victory. Here's Eikeland, defending by Charles to Kirby. Really, when you have such a talented squad, but it's also a necessity when you're competing in the Champions League as well, and we all know how desperately Chelsea want to win that competition. One they haven't won so far. Good play by England to Ritten Kannerud. Has a runner in the shape of Cuthbert. Jankovic, well read though by Trollsgaard. Sophie Ingle, good to see her praised in the studio before the game as somebody underrated, though no doubt not by her teammates, either with Wales or with Chelsea.
Yeah, she doesn't get the headlines, Sophie Ingle, but it's so key to the way that Chelsea play. Always keeps the ball moving, always in the right place at the right time. Reads the game so well from a defensive perspective, but also going forward. Yeah, her teammates will certainly rate her very highly.
Yeah, as a journalist, it's not something you really put in your headlines. Is midfielder generally very good every game? It's not really you want to grab the attention, but she is. Wales captain. Getting a rendition of always look on the bright side of life. I think that's probably something to do with the temperatures here. Checking to see what the temperature was going to be, and I saw it was going to be about -4 around now, and then -5 around 10 p.m.
Oh, lovely.
Grab a blanket and enjoy. Here is Ingle. You can tell this Reading side are playing with a bit more confidence than they did earlier on in the season. Here's Perisset. France international.
Yeah, I think what Reading are doing really well, I think they're pressing high from the front, they're trying to close down, but they've just got to be careful if they do that, because Chelsea is so good at just playing out from the press, and then they've committed too many bodies forward.
You know, I love a gadget, Sue, electronic one. I'm a bit worried about them all. My laptop's already died due to the freezing temperatures. Had to warm it up with my electric blanket. One of the two I brought with me, by the way. And that's a free kick taken very, very quickly. And a chance for Chelsea. Will they be punishing Reading? And they have, and it's Fran Kirby. Reading born and bred. With the opening goal of the game, the flag stayed down. And it's Kirby for Chelsea.
Oh wow, you've got to switch on from a Reading perspective. You know, it's so quick from Chelsea here. I just wonder, are they offside? So it's straight away, you can see the backs are turned. Yeah, you can see the line, can't you? She's clearly offside, but Chelsea do it quickly, and Fran Kirby is not going to miss from there. You know, it's good play initially, but Reading will be disappointed initially from, you get a free kick, you've got to face the ball, you've got to be ready, because you know that Chelsea are going to be good and they're going to be quick at that, but it's offside, and that's going to be frustrating from a Reading perspective.
I think it's fair to say that the Reading coaching staff are not too impressed with that, naming no names, but they've seen it, they know. And Reading have to deal with that now. A goal down against the champions at the home of the champions. Just wonder, was the assistant perhaps caught cold as well as the
maybe
defenders?
Yeah, because it's exactly what Reading do. You know, straight away that the free kick's given, their backs are turned. Was the official, like you say, did they expect Chelsea to do it?
Here's Kirby once again. They have their tails up. They have the advantage. Can they double it? Straight into the arms of Burns. Those fine margins can have really big consequences. You can perhaps understand how it's happened. Reading up against it now. Here's Charles for Chelsea. Been such a positive start from Reading as well, right from the first whistle. They'd made their intentions clear, and they possibly thought their best chance was to try and catch Chelsea cold early on, but they still have a long way to go.
Yeah, they have, and they have started the game well, and I think that's what they'll be frustrated with, that they've conceded a goal like that.
It was a chance. Perisset up from the back.
Yeah, it's a chance here for Perisset at the far post. Again, they build the ball so well, overloads on that left-hand side, the delivery comes in. It's a difficult header, it's coming down. She's got to try and generate the power.
Well, that's Phil Cousins, who's absolutely fuming about that decision. He's seen it again, and he can't understand why the flag wasn't raised. He's saying it every game. And I guess when you are one of the minnows, and they are financially, because they're the only club not backed by money from the Premier League, they're constantly up against it. They have to be greater than their sum of the parts. Off the pitch, the coaching staff is a huge asset to them. Kelly Chambers with her experience.
Yeah, I think here's the goal again. So it's straight away, there's a foul. Chelsea do it quickly, and that's what you're told to do. Can you catch the defenders off guard? And when you look at it there, when you see it in line, she is offside. And that's a frustration, and that's a frustration for the assistant, but it's difficult. Defenders still have to remain focused in that instance.
Do you think they switched off?
Oh yeah, 100% they did.
Just weren't expecting the quick free kick.
No, And it's clever from Chelsea. And that's what they do, and that's why you have to remain focused against a side like Chelsea, because that's what they do to you. They do everything quickly, with quality.
It's Niamh Charles who has a problem. England international. Really is developing really well, the former Liverpool player. Not clear exactly what happened to Charles. Looks as though she may well be okay to continue after she's gone off the pitch, of course, having received treatment. Looks as though she'll be okay to continue. Chelsea with the advantage. Fran Kirby against her former club. After an offside in the build-up. And Charles is okay to continue. Four England caps to her name now, and continuing to improve seemingly with every game. She's deceptively quick as well, yeah, Charles.
Works so hard as well.
It's a must in this squad, isn't it, to be able to get anywhere near the first team. You have to have that work ethic, you have to be constantly improving.
And that's the minimum, the minimum requirement. I think if any player has to be, you've got to work hard. But she certainly has that in abundance, good defensively, and is a threat going forward.
Clearance from the keeper fell as far as Anne Havermark, but it's back in Chelsea hands, so to speak. It was an uncharacteristic error by Anne-Katrin Berger in the week against Real Madrid. Came back an own goal after a Gura Wrighton penalty to draw 1-1. But you don't want to scuff a clearance straight to Caroline Weir, do you?
It's the last person, isn't it?
I think of a few people you'd rather scuff it to, not Caroline Weir. Being treated to the full repertoire from Kelly Chambers underneath us, aren't we? Some things we can repeat. But what would Reading be without Kelly Chambers? You have to wonder. She has been there for so long.
Oh, she's brilliant.
There's so many different jobs as well.
Yeah, and like you say, the players speak so highly of her. She's done so much.
She's not just the first team manager, but she's also director of women's and girls football, responsible for all football from elite level down to under 13s. But she likes that. She wants to know exactly who's coming through. She brings through 1 or 2 players per season to play at the top level, which is highly impressive. She says she needs to. It means that she doesn't have to spend money on extra players. She can spend them on quality. And they do have talented players at Reading. Former England international is Tasha Dowie on the bench. Rachel Rowe and Emma McCandy, the regular captain, have been suffering from flu as well, so they're also on the bench, but available. Here's Troelsgaard, now Eikeland. Troelsgaard once again, the Denmark international. Harries has Wade in the centre. Good defending, though, by Millie Bright. How many times have we said that over the years?
It's great defending from Millie Bright. Like you say, we've said that so many occasions over the years.
She's played all bar 12 minutes in the WSL this season. The vice captain here at Chelsea, one of the first names on the team sheet. Here's Perisset driving forwards for Chelsea, looking for Ritin Kanerud, but Reading look to bring it away. Tia Primmer towards Wade. Reading have the worst away record in the WSL. That's something they're going to really struggle to improve upon tonight. But in fairness, not many people come here expecting a great deal. They may hope. Brighton probably didn't come here expecting a huge amount in February 2021, but they are the last side to win here in the WSL. You don't have to have the most possession, you don't have the most chances or be the better team. Varying factors, of course, involved. But certainly you have to keep believing.
You do have to keep believing, sometimes a little bit of luck, but I think at times, tactically, teams have come here and done a very good job, because you know it's going to be difficult. You know you've got to, like I say, ride your luck at times, get your chances, you've got to take them. But belief is a huge factor.
Katzenberger will be conscious of that error in the week, not wanting anything to happen like that again. The manager said they just weren't at the races, particularly in the first half. It was an improved performance in the second half. Real Madrid, the Germany international, had hurt her foot, in fairness, just a few moments before, and you just wonder whether that might have had an impact on that clearance.
Yeah, like you say, very uncharacteristic. She's a big character. So, of course, she'll have looked at that, reflected on it, and she'll be like, right, tonight, I'm going to continue with the great performances that I've shown throughout the season.
Right, for Chelsea, looking to get play started once again. For the home side, leading through that Fran Kirby goal. What will the Reading players be thinking after that? Will they mostly be frustrated that they switched off for that quick free kick? Or do you think in the back of their minds they're thinking that was offside and they're feeling a sense of injustice?
It's tough, isn't it? Because I think initially, will you know that when you're on the field? Some of them will. Some of them will just be thinking, yeah, we have to switch on quickly when they take a free kick like that. But when they watch it back, they'll certainly be disappointed that they were clearly offside.
Britain Cannerud for Chelsea. Shackled by Gemma Evans. Cuthbert shakes off the challenge of Trollsgaard. Chankovic. Perisset with a cross. Way well by Cooper. Almost as far as Bright, who gets a touch in for Kirby. Play on from that challenge. Here's Cuthbert. Premier just loses it momentarily. Britain Cannerud thinks about a shot off the post, and it falls initially to Evans, but they have been punished, and that's goal number 2 for Chelsea. And it's Jelena Chankovic on her first WSL start for Chelsea, and they're motoring now.
They really are. What a brilliant strike initially that hits the post and comes out, but it's Chankovic. She's the first one to react. Reading they deal with it, but they don't clear it, and Chelsea, that's what they're so good at. They lose the ball, they win it back so quickly. That's a great effort to hit it across the goalkeeper, but who is the first one to react? It's Chankovic there. You've got to try and clear your lines, because this is what Chelsea do. Look at the players in and around the box. Beth England's in there just in case it falls to her. It's a good finish in the end, but good play from Chelsea. Brilliant strike there from Canrid, though. Nice, cool finish.
And huge credit to Chankovic for reacting, but was it another case of Reading not quite reacting as quickly as they should have done defensively?
Well, initially they did well and they were in good shape, but it was just, sometimes you've just got to try and clear your lines. They tried to play it out centrally.
Don't have time for an inquest. They need to try and think of a way of getting back into this game before the break. They recovered well after losing their first 5 games this season in all competitions. think Chelsea's approach will be now? They'll be happy with what they've got. They'll keep piling forwards and being super positive, and they kind of have to because they know the firepower they have on the bench and the players who want their places back.
Yeah, and that's what's great to have, that competition and that strength and depth, because you know that if you're not performing, somebody's on the bench that's going to come in and take your position. But it's just the type of team that they are. They're ruthless, Jackie.
And all about goal difference in this league as well. There's just 1 point separating Chelsea and Arsenal at the end of last season. It was Arsenal who had the better goal difference, but Chelsea had that precious point. That's a poor free kick from Bryson. Harries. Woodham. Jackie Burns with a long clearance. Picked up by Trollsgaard. Dealt with by Charles. Well, Beth England, somebody who's going to be hungry for goals tonight, getting a chance to start with a side that usually has Vanilla Harder, of course, but she's out with injury for some time. Not to mention Sam Kerr, who's lurking ominously on the bench. I wonder whether she'd rather be playing tonight in terms of being warm, or whether she'd be quite happy to be on the bench with a blanket on.
Oh, you want to play. It's always freezing sitting on the bench.
Do you think the weather's slightly different in Australia this time of year? What do you reckon?
A little bit warmer.
Woodham. Played plenty of her career in a more advanced position than left back. Another player who's really progressing well. They have to get past that player. They're going to score tonight. Opportunity taken by Elena Cankovic, a Serbia midfielder. Did have a period out injured between September and this month. Former Rosengard player, signed in the summer. Kirby looking to cause some more damage against her former club. Cuthbert. And it's 3. And it's Cankovic again. And in the blink of an eye, Chelsea are absolutely cruising.
This is an absolutely brilliant goal, Jack. When you watch the way that Chelsea go forward, the movement, the rotation that they have, this is practiced again and again on the training field. One player comes in, the other one then goes forward. It's good, little bit of intricate play. When the ball gets into Frank Kirby, you know the quality that she's got. You know that she's going to find a player. Cuthbert again is then the overlap. And Cankovic, just a real well-timed run into the box and just a glancing header into that far corner. She's been excellent. Deserves that second goal.
So many Reading defenders in the box, but the timing of the run and of the header beat all of them. And beat Jackie Burns too. And what an impact she's had. Gone from no starts and no goals to 1 start and 2 goals. 3 for Chelsea. Cementing their place at the top of the table as things stand. 3 points clear of Arsenal, who have a game in hand and won earlier. Manchester United with a 1-1 draw against Manchester City. United being in 3rd place, just above the dotted line for Champions League places. So much competition for that this season, with City 3 points below them. As far as Reading are concerned, there is only one team that can go down from the WSL. It's currently Leicester City at the bottom, without a point from 9 games. And Reading have 7. And they're 9.5. And Leicester's game at Liverpool was postponed earlier due to a frozen pitch. Brighton against Everton was also off. But West Ham won 2-0 at Tottenham. Now here's Kirby. Reading wish she'd been rested tonight. Still Kirby, so tricky. And she has Erin Cuthbert in support. Perisset, Ingle, Perisset with a cross. Scuffed it.
Yeah, should have done better. But again, good build-up play. And when Chelsea win the ball back, they break forward so quickly with numbers. And it is difficult to defend against. I think Beth England, who's obviously come in and wanting to make an impact, watching her movement, you know, she comes in, she links play, and then she gets herself forward into the box. But she's drawing defenders out, which is leaving space then, whether it's Chankovic or Canarid or Frank Kirby. They just know what each other's going to do, and it's great to watch them go forward.
Passing and movement's fantastic, but here come Reading. And it's Emma Harries driving forwards with purpose. She has Trollsgaard in the centre if she can find her. Crossing towards Wade. Oh, what a strike from distance from Van Havermaet. Not a bad effort at all.
Great effort, and that started from, again, Harry's getting forward, getting herself into areas, being positive, and when the ball falls, it's decent technique. It's just dipping outside the area. You can see there, decent technique. But she's done well in just trying to shield and protect the back line, getting herself into positions defensively, but when she gets herself in positions forward, she will have a go.
My iPad's just died in the snow. That's a laptop down, an iPad down. A few repairs to be done after this. Hello. Ingle for Chelsea. Charles.
My pen and paper's not working either. Old school.
There's Chankovic. Kirby. Look at the movement from Chelsea players. Charles trying to cut it back. It's a corner.
Frank Kirby's just so difficult to mark, isn't she? You don't know if she's going to come inside onto her right foot, if she's going to go outside onto her left. She's so tricky.
And Reading have some more defending to do. I do not want Chelsea to be running away with this before half-time and keep it competitive. It has been competitive. Such a positive start, but they're just up against some excellent players. Swung into the danger area. Millie Bright's there. Ingle. England. There's an injury inside the Reading penalty area. Gemma Evans, who's been in the thick of the action tonight, she always is. Throwing her body at everything, usually.
Yeah, and I think she just got one right in the face as she goes to block the ball. Sophie Ingle does well to keep it alive. But again, Reading struggling to clear their lines. I think you can see here, yeah, just Beth England's shot, I think, hits her straight in the face. Hopefully she's okay.
I mean, it's not something you want at the best of times, but particularly on a night like this.
No.
Absolutely frozen solid.
But that's what you get from her. She will put her body on the line and try and block absolutely everything.
That's another goal that Reading have conceded from a cross. They already had the worst record from that point of view this season. And certainly, ideally, you wouldn't do it against Chelsea. And still, Phil Cousins and Kelly Chambers remonstrate with the fourth official, Emily Heaslip, over what they know was an offside goal to open things up. And from their point of view, they're thinking, well, if we manage to keep it 0-0 for longer, you just never know. And neutrals perhaps watching would think, well, yeah, but you know what Chelsea were going to do, but you don't know for sure.
No, you don't. And once that breakthrough, it's difficult because that's not, it's nothing tactically, is it? It's a mistake from an official that sets Chelsea on their way.
In fairness to Chelsea, quick thinking from them. Millie Bright for Chelsea. One of her trademark crossfield breaking passes. Kirby, who they need to try and get out of the game. Ingle, back to Kirby. She goes for goal, but straight at Burns. have a championship offering for you tomorrow night. Sunderland versus West Brom. Don Goodman derby, that one. And in the Scottish Premiership, Rangers against Hibs on Thursday night at 7 on Sky Sports Football. And some more championship football for you, some more Reading football for you as well. Paul Ince's Reading away to Birmingham City. Paul Ince and assistant Alex Ray, very supportive of the women's team, by the way. Kelly Chambers rather, has talked about that and how she can lean on Mark Bowen, the Director of Football Operations, or Paul Ince. They were at their game against Tottenham, last league game at home at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. And having spoken to one of the coaching staff members there, they said they really had their eyes open to the women's game from the fact that they train with them at their training ground, that they mix with them every day. Cuthbert. Pockets of Chelsea supporters warming their throats. They're chanting over the far side. It's loose from Van Havermaet. It's so hard playing against a side such as Chelsea with the ability they have, and I guess Reading is just hoping in the second half they don't bring the likes of Sam Kerr off the bench. Or do you think it's a night that Emma Hayes will be thinking she'll just rest her entirely?
Who knows? I think when you look at that bench of Chelsea's, the strength that they have, depends if she wants to give them any more game time.
Britton Cannerud thinking of getting the goals action herself. She'd like that, and they've let it get through to Fran Kirby. You can't do that. Good challenge though by Bryson. Deshankovic and Kirby. She's such a dangerous player, Fran Kirby. Literally every time she touches the ball, so deceptive in her play. It must be horrible to defend against. You don't know which way she's going to go. Is she going to slip it short to one of her colleagues? Is she going to switch it? And here they come again. Jankovic, Kirby. Well shackled by Trollsgaard that time. And still they come forwards, Chelsea. Away by Cooper. Kirby. Still Fran Kirby. Cuthbert. She has previous on that front.
She has. We've seen a fair few goals, haven't we, from her like that. But speaking of Fran Kirby, she's everything positive that's happening for Chelsea is going through her. And like you mentioned, she can go inside, she can go outside, but it's how she finds space. Sometimes she just stands still. She knows she's in space, and that change of pace that she's got when she's on the ball, she is so difficult to play against. It's great to see her back playing.
Fabulous pass from her to Kirby. She's hungry for goals, Fran Kirby. They're all hungry for goals at Chelsea, but well held by Burns at the second attempt.
Again, it's that crossfield pass to Fran Kirby, and she does so well because she could give it for the overlap. I think it's Millie Bright initially who overlaps her on that side. She doesn't. She waits for Charles to come in and then just sets it onto her right foot, and it's a strike that you expect Burns to save. She does at the second attempt, but I just think she gets a little knee in the head there, which is why she's stayed down. So hopefully she's going to be okay.
Painful one for Jackie Burns, and plenty for Kelly Chambers and Phil Cousins to contemplate at half-time. And from a coaching point of view, you can sense the frustration. We've heard Phil Cousins in particular be mega frustrated by the opening goal, but I guess they have to let that go as well, or do they encourage the players to channel that frustration to be positive?
That's the best way of describing it, I think, channeling the frustration, because you can't, it's gone now. Yes, it's frustrating and disappointing, and you'll watch that back, but you've got to move on, because you've got another half where you've got to try and get yourself back into the game. So it's got to be more about how are we going to do that now.
Minimum of 3 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half. It's quite new. The World Cup, we used to about 6 or 7 or more, aren't we? Extraordinary as Burns continues to receive treatment. The Northern Ireland international taken over from Grace Maloney. Oh, it's a lovely old evening for Emma Hayes and Denise Reddy. I wonder what's got them in
So
fits of
tickled them.
giggles.
So there's definitely tickling.
Well, Denise Reddy, one of the joint managers of the month for November, rightly so. I mean, 6 wins out of 6, but 4 out of 4 in the WSL in Emma Hayes' absence. Managerial experience of her own as well. And Burns is okay to continue. Van Havermaet using her height and presence in midfield there. A lovely back heel from Jankovic. What a fabulous half of football she has had. Brilliant. Food for thought for Emma Hayes. And here comes the ever dangerous Fran Kirby. She has Charles on the overlap, away by Cooper.
Yeah, they got done a couple of times in midfield. Reading, where a couple of players have just been drawn to the ball, and because Chelsea moved the ball so quickly and then it goes out wide, they've struggled to get back across and help out.
What a half of football by Jelena Jankovic. 27-year-old with 53 caps for Serbia. And really making a presence felt. And such a good signing from Rosengard. Kirby, once again, looking to keep the pressure up. Beth England, a real team player, but might actually love to be on the score sheet tonight. Number 9's instincts take their opportunity whenever they come. They're not exactly short of goals this season. Chelsea, that's their 41st goal they've scored in 13 and a half games, or 43rd now. That's a painful one for Woodham. Looks as though she'll be okay. Chelsea, Reading rather, now have conceded 23 goals in 9.5 games this season. That's the 3rd most coming into the weekend. But they'll have to regroup at half-time. And what do you think the manager will be saying to them, Reading?
Well, I think they've got to try and get themselves back into the game somehow. You've got to defend better from crosses. We saw that. So close the cross down, be better in the penalty area when the deliveries come in. We know that Chelsea have been excellent at doing that. And when you get an opportunity, when you go forward, you've got to try and take it, make the most of it. I think Harris has certainly looked lively here, and Wade have linked up well at times.
And there is the half-time whistle, merciless from Chelsea. Fran Kirby, born and bred in Reading, with the opening goal. Did appear to be offside, though. We'll be discussing that in the break in just a few moments' time after the break. And Jelena Jankovic making her first WSL start with 2 goals for Chelsea. Much to contemplate for both managers at half-time, but it's certainly Emma Hayes who'll be the happier of the two. Chelsea 3, Reading 0 at the break.
6 changes, same old Chelsea. 3 up at the break. Fern Whelan and Karen Carney here. Karen, Fern, let's go to the first goal. Get them all in. And Fran Kirby, quick thinking, but was there a whiff of offside?
Yeah, and it actually started with Reading's throw, so they'll be disappointed they conceded possession there. But, you know, really clever here from Erin Cuthbert just to take that quick free kick, ball across the box, and Fran Kirby obviously slots it home. But we'll see it from this angle here. Reading will definitely be aggrieved because he's seeing the build-up. She just drifts offside here in the build-up to the goal. So, but, you know, Reading will be disappointed. They've turned their backs. They're not switched on. They're not alert to the play. And before this, they were actually in the game. They had a decent spell. So they'll be disappointed in the way they've conceded this. But credit to Erin Cuthbert for quick thinking and for slotting the ball there through to her. Ball across, outside of the boot from Fran Kirby. Great finish.
Yeah, she likes scoring against her old side, does Fran Kirby. Then 2-0 from Jankovic.
Yeah, I kept this in because we mentioned Sophie Ingle at the start. And what she does is just gets those little nicks, those that keeps the phase alive, keeps bodies high up in the pitch. Again, there's chances against. It's really messy in there, and I think Reading were disappointed because they've had 2 or 3 chances where they can clear their lines. Just doesn't happen. It's a great strike. Again, there's another chance. And then, look, Cankovic is in there for a first goal and you won't get an easier one than that. But just clear your lines, hook it, shank it, do whatever you got to do. You're in the 6-yard line, just get it away. But fair play to her, she's been really, really sharp.
Yeah, and then with this goal, Cankovic's second goal here, it was just a great bit of build-up play, to be honest, from Chelsea. The other ones were sloppy from Reading, but I think as the cross comes in here from Cuthbert, what a great header there and a great leap from Cankovic, and she's having a great first half. Pinpoint with the cross, but she gets in between the 2 defenders, rises highest, and back of the net and bottom corner as well. You can see she's directed the ball in the back of the net. It's great. Great goal from her.
It's so right in what Karen said, Fern. Then you just wanted them, Reading, just to lump it, didn't they? The minute they went behind 2-0, just get it out.
Yeah, definitely. You know, as a defender, you just got to clear your lines there. You can't afford to take a touch in the box, especially when you've got players from Chelsea surrounding you. You can't take a touch. You just got to clear it first time, especially when you're 1-0 down. Stay in the game.
1-0, 2-0, 3-0 down at the break. Then Chelsea on their way to equalling a club record 9 WSL wins. And top of the pops for Christmas. It's now 16 first-half goals that Reading have conceded in the last 10 games, more than any other side in the WSL this season. Fern, how do they treat the second 45 minutes?
I think they've got to keep Cankovic quiet. For me, I think she's been the star of the show in the first half alongside Fran Kirby. I think she's been brilliant. But they have to stop her at source, stop her shooting from distance and be switched on to the fact that when Chelsea are going to take their shots, they need to be ready for the second phase. It's not always the first phase, it's the second phase and making sure they clear their lines to stop any damage limitations. They're already 3-0 down in the first half.
Just briefly, Karen, seeing them warm up then, and of course it's the threat Chelsea have from the bench as well. Think we'll see changes?
Well, no, I think this group don't regularly play, so it's their opportunity to take and to show them that is why they should be playing and play more regularly. But I expect a professional second-half performance from them.
They've taken on the cups of tea, they've warmed up their heated gilets, and that's just Sue Smith and Jackie Oatley.
Thank you, Caroline. Yes, I'm literally wearing an electric blanket tonight. It's making its debut, dangling from the front of my person. There is Kelly Chambers, ready to brace the second half. She's not wearing a hat, which is very brave. She's much harder than the rest of us. But she and her Reading side are up against a dominant force in Chelsea. It may not be full of their regular players. They have plenty of them on the bench, as Caroline suggested. The likes of Sam Kerr, Guro Wright, who's been in fabulous form, Lauren James, who many believe will go on to become world-class if she isn't already, and others besides. Reading, for now, have to deal with the players that they're facing already. And they probably won't thank me for reminding them that Chelsea's last 3 WSL wins against Reading have all been by 5-0. They are currently on course for that. Reading will be doing everything in their powers to try to prevent another rout here. But it's easier said than done, Sue Smith.
It is, and they need a positive start like they did in the first half, but try and get a goal back early on just to give them that little bit of belief and confidence for the second half.
And Reading looking to start the second half as they did the first, which was very much on the front foot. Tia Primer, though, penalised with a free kick to Chelsea. So no changes for either side. And Emma Hayes will no doubt be delighted with what she's seen from the player. She doesn't give as regular a start to, and the WSL starting debutant Jelena Cankovic, the Serbian, has really given her plenty to think about going forwards. Hasn't featured so much so far, partly due to injury. And what a signing she's proving to be, and somebody you can see why there was some various clubs, top clubs, vying for her signature in the summer, and you can see why she wanted to come here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's an opportunity for her to develop herself as well. But she certainly is adding something to this Chelsea side.
You're right there, Sue. I've just tweeted a picture of Sue getting ready for the second half. A little bit chilly. We'll leave it at that. And that's surely a push. One of frustration, perhaps, from Lauren Wade. I doubt there'd have been plenty of reassurance from the Reading coaching staff in the second half. Encouragement, telling them to keep going, keep believing in themselves.
Yeah, definitely. They will have said, well, you started off well. You know, you conceded a goal that we're obviously frustrated with because the first goal was offside. But just get yourselves back into the game, press high. Can you win the ball back high up the field and punish Chelsea early on?
Sophie Ingle, ever the hard worker in midfield, but with quality in abundance as well. Jankovic has got her first 2 goals in the WSL for Chelsea. Britton Cannerud will be somebody else looking to do the same, possibly also Eve Perisset, new signings in the summer, looking to make their mark on this Chelsea side, who are competing on all fronts. That's something, Sue, that Arsenal will be having in their minds, that they know that Chelsea are so desperate for the Champions League, they'll be hoping they take their eye off the ball in the league.
Well, I think you always hope for that. I think you can see the next 6 fixtures there, and of course Chelsea want to win the Champions League, we know that, but they want to compete in all of the competitions and be successful in all the competitions like Arsenal do, and that's why they have such a big squad to be able to do that and to rotate.
Niamh Charles driving forwards. And she's still going, upended though by Deanna Cooper, and I think that'll be the first yellow card of the game in terms of the playing personnel. It is indeed, and that's one for Cooper, former Chelsea defender. She scored here from 30 yards for Chelsea against Reading in the League Cup 3 years ago, but no doubt over that one.
No, not at all. No, it's a definite trip, but that's what Niamh Charles can provide. She carries the ball so well. She's got that pace, she's got that dribbling ability, weaves in and out, and just wrong-footed Deanna Cooper.
It's her 14th yellow card of the season, just the one for Chelsea, surprisingly, in the WSL. Ingle. And Reading have some defending to do now. Eve Perisset, the French right-back, standing over this. And towards England. Trollsgaard. Perisset once again. Oh, and it's not dealt with, and it's over the bar from Ingle.
I think Sophie will be a little bit disappointed she doesn't get this on target. You know, like say, it's not dealt with. You've got to punch that further. You can't punch it right into the danger area. Sophie Ingle just lurking, but she's got quite a lot of time. Get herself over the ball and get that on target.
Ingle looking for her first WSL goal of the season to match one she scored in the Champions League. Snow, as you can see, really is driving down now, because we're dancing from side to side without a great deal of rhythm, it has to be said.
Speak for yourself.
I will, I absolutely will. Good work by Cuthbert to rob Primmer of the ball. Well, it is asking a lot of an 18-year-old, isn't it? And Tia Primmer against this fabulous Chelsea side, and here's Jankovic. On a hat-trick, by the way. That would be something special for her. I wouldn't rule it out at the moment. Trollsgaard brings it away. That's well read, though, by Millie Bright.
They just had a better option on the right-hand side here. I think again that's where when Reading win the ball back and they go forward, they've got 2 players. They have got, you know, Wade is up there alongside Harris, and you just think if Trollsgaard could have turned out to that right hand side, she would have been free. You've got to get that decision making. It's got to be better if Reading want to get themselves back into the game.
Justine van Havermaet for Reading. Talking of a potential hat-trick, by the way, for Jankovic, if she were to score with her right foot, that would make it the perfect hat-trick. I mean, that's asking a lot. Why not? That's a very rare one, that. Loose header from Fran Kirby. And Harry's on the chase. Well, she'll take no particular pleasure from scoring against her former club, as some players do. She's very much a Reading girl. But business is business, and she has a fine record against her former club. Came through with Grace Maloney, who's on the Reading bench tonight.
Let's get out, let's get out, let's get out. Good yo-yo, good yo-yo, and again yo-yo.
Neve Charles, one of potentially 6 England players to play in the World Cup next summer in a group with Sanne Troelsgaard's Denmark, also Pernille Harder's Denmark, as well as China and a playoff winner, either Senegal, Haiti or Chile, yet to be decided. Sam Kerr will come up against her Canadian Chelsea teammates, Jessie Fleming and Khadijah Buchanan, who's on the bench tonight. Well, if you're wondering whether to come along tonight or sit at home, I wonder whether that sight has helped you realise that possibly you did the right thing. Hope you're keeping nice and warm. Tickets, by the way, here were £10 for those seated, £9 for standing at the other end, where they're hoping to see some Chelsea goals tonight. And just £2 for under 20s and OAPs, extremely reasonably priced. And it's not just why they sell out so regularly, it's because the football on offer is so enticing. Emma Hayes has spoken previously about not necessarily wanting to play too many games at Stamford Bridge because this is such a fortress for them. This really is their home, but they didn't do too badly against Tottenham, did they? Winning 3-0 in front of more than 38,000. The ball had just gone out. What's it like for the players playing in these conditions, Sue?
Oh, yeah, not nice. You know, I think I played on a part frozen pitch in the League Cup final against Everton, and it's difficult. You can't keep your feet. You know, this isn't frozen, but the snow is coming down at some force now. So you maybe got to change the way you play slightly if the ball starts to hold up a bit more on back passes. If you're a forward, maybe you gamble a bit more thinking that that's going to happen. So you'd have to slightly adapt your game.
They're certainly settling on the pitch, isn't it? And is affecting the game in that regard, but it's up to the players to adapt as they go. Cuthbert falls for England to chase. Well, Kirby screaming for it, as she always is, and here's Cuthbert. Jankovic through to Cuthbert just for a second. She thought about the shot. Here's Ingle, she's thinking about it. So's Cuthbert! And deflected over the bar. Deanne Cooper with a defensive block there.
Yeah, she actually does well, and Cuthbert's involved there on a couple of occasions, gets herself a yard to get the shot away. But Cooper manages to get ahead. I think Burns would have got across and saved it anyway, but she's got to make sure as a defender in that instance.
Injury here to Tia Primer. What have you made of what you've seen of Tia Primer so far, the 18-year-old?
Yeah, I think she's got a lot of potential. You know, she's come into the side, and it is about consistency when you're a young player and getting that game time. But she's certainly confident, she's full of energy, wants to get on the ball. She's a player that's only going to get better.
Have the first change here with Rachel Rowe, such a regular in that midfield for Wales and for Reading. She's been out with flu. I'd hope she's completely over it now, coming into this. Yeah, what she's thinking coming on with conditions such as this.
She'll just want to come on and play. And I think that's a positive for Reading, that they have got players back onto the bench.
We're hearing of a triple change for Chelsea coming up. It's not going to be Lauren James and Sam Kerr as yet. Now and Carter and Fleming due to come on. And Tia Primer is struggling. Didn't turn 19 until May. Made an impact last season, scoring a couple of goals in the space of a week. And the far more experienced Rachel Rowe will prepare to come on. Started all 8 games until missing that Tottenham game with flu, but they managed to win without her. She's created the most chances for Reading this season. Former prison operations supports guard from Swansea. And Chelsea are back in business once again. So close to a Jankovic hat-trick. That has to be in her mind, you would imagine.
I don't think it was her right foot though, but Beth England as well. It's a good set on the floor. It is her left foot.
I think they still count though, right?
They still count, but it wouldn't be the perfect hat-trick that
Oh,
you were
have
talking
high
about before.
Such high standards here. Dear, oh dear. Here's Jankovic again, first time from her. Well, it feels like a different game now with the snow settling on the Kings Meadow surface. Forward from Bryson, straight to Charles though. Reading on the back foot again. Jankovic. Plus button the chase. Well, I think it's worth reiterating the vast disparity of resources, not just between Reading and Chelsea, but between Reading and Arsenal, United City, so many other sides in this division. The fact that they are so competitive, and yes, okay, they're third off the bottom, but not many expecting them to go down. Here's Emma Harries looking to prove that point. Early ball into the centre and scuffed by Bright, picked up by Trollsgaard. Will have a shot. That is squirmed under Ann-Katrin Berger, and there goes her clean sheet. But more to the point, Sanny Trollsgaard has put Reading back in the game.
Look, it's a poor mistake from Berger. She'll be really disappointed with that, but you can't take anything away from Reading, and that's where they've got at Chelsea. They've done so well in terms of when they turn Chelsea around, they know that they like the wide players to get forward, so this is where the space in the channels, and Harris has done this on a regular basis. Millie Bright doesn't clear the ball, but who's there? It's Trollsgaard to pick up the pieces. She gets a shot on target. It squirms underneath Berger, and like I say, Berger will be disappointed, but this is good quick feet to get herself a yard. Goalkeeper has to do better.
Trollsgaard is Denmark's third highest ever goal scorer, behind Chelsea's Pernille Harder and Merete Pedersen. Used to play under the Arsenal manager, Jonas Eidevall, saying few can match her on her day, but she had to be more consistent in his eyes when she was at Rosengard. It's a second error in the space of a few days for Ann-Katrin Berger after the one at Real Madrid. Hasn't had a great deal to do tonight, it has to be said, and that was really positive play by Harries. And they're in again, and they've scored again. Absolutely extraordinary. Amalia Eikeland with a second. A minute ago, Reading was 3-0 down. Now it's just 3-2.
This is brilliant from Reading. What a response from them, and this is it's good play. They press Chelsea well, they win the ball back. Really good strength there from Reading. They keep battling, and when they break forward, they do so well, and it comes out wide. And I've mentioned Harris on a regular basis because she has been their threat, but it's how cool and calm she is. She gets herself into her area, she doesn't panic, she picks out a player, and Eikeland manages to get it into the corner. I don't think Berger could have done any more there. She's at full stretch, can't get it. Really good play from Eikeland. What a game this is now.
Just 1 minute and 24 seconds between those two goals. from the Scandinavian contingent. Emma Hayes and Denise Reddy are suddenly wondering how to react. Norway international, who's played every minute this season for Reading. Credit once again to captain Emma Harries, both goals coming from her down that right-hand side, and from her positivity and early balls and her drive and belief. The belief we talked about was there from Emma Harries.
Yeah, and she's been a threat all game, and that's what Reading have looked to do, like where the spaces are out wide from a Chelsea perspective, because they commit those players forward. They look to turn it because they know that she's got the pace to get in those channels, and like you say, she's positive, she wants to go forward at every opportunity, but then it's, can I find a player? Yes, she can. Really good performance from her for Reading.
So positive from them. They've really made a game of this, and we started the second half questioning whether it was going to be a fourth successive 5-0 victory in terms of the scoreline of Chelsea beating Reading. And Reading have had something to say about that. Jankovic hasn't had that triple change that was planned for Chelsea. Well. This is why we love the Barclays WSL so much, because you think you know, and actually you realise you don't know anything at all. I speak for myself. Ingle, Kirby, Charles. The belief evident on the pitch, and it's evident on the sidelines too. The coaching staff around us up here on the gantry celebrating that goal as though it was something far more significant, and it is very significant for Reading. Second yellow card of the game for them. Bryson this time, who may well be replaced in just a moment with Emma McCandy coming on. Yeah, it may well be for her.
Yeah, it was just missed time, wasn't it? Fran Kirby gets that touch before Bryson. She's committed to the challenge, and it is a yellow card.
The attendance tonight is 1,184. Thank you, as always, for your fantastic support.
Eve Perisset standing over this free kick for Chelsea, who've had a shock to the solar plexus with those two quick-fire goals. How can they respond? Well, plenty of goal scorers waiting for this to land to them. Here's one of them, Cuthbert. And Rachel Rowe getting straight into the game there, making it difficult for Cuthbert to size up the shot at goal. Jankovic, who I'm guessing might be in your mind for player of the match, but I don't want to preempt anything, and certainly not yet, because there's plenty of football to be played. Diana Cooper. They rather greedily have a Deanne and a Diana in the squad. Deanne Rose, I mean, what a huge blow that is, missing her for the season. Canada international with that Achilles injury. Regular captain Emma McCandy coming on. Standing captain Emma Harries hasn't done too badly, has she? Setting up 2 goals in the space of 1 minute and 24 seconds in this second half. Scotland and former Arsenal defender, formerly known as Emma Mitchell, of course, having got married in the summer.
I think Chelsea just want to slow the pace down a little bit, don't they? Stop Reading's momentum.
Jess Carter, England defender, coming on for another England defender in Niamh Charles. Well, Jess Carter's only made 1 WSL start this season, which should probably be a surprise to anybody who watched Chelsea last season when she was such a regular fixture, such as the competition for places. Here's Beth England, who knows all about that. England number 9. Didn't manage to make any minutes at the Euros, despite being in England squad. Something she told me that she was extremely frustrated about, but once the manager had a chat to her about it, she understood her place, she understood her role. Something that Serena Wiegman seems to have got so right with England is that the man management that we talk about so much, but you players know all about that. When a player isn't involved, they often want to know why, whether they're likely to be, what their role is, and you can deal with it, I guess, if your manager's straight with you.
It's just the honesty. And I think, like you say, that's what she's done so well in terms of talking to players and communicating with them so they know what they have to do. Whether it's to start or whether it's to get into the squad. Everything that's off the field, Serena Wiegman's done quality as well as on the field.
That Dutch directness seems to have helped as well.
Yeah.
Never backwards in coming forwards. Yeah. Jess Carter pointing out to Berger, that's not entirely how I wanted to receive the ball. McCandy, Carter's there. Reading will be sensing there's something in this game for them, something we wouldn't have said 10, 20 minutes ago. Full credit to them for having that self-belief, for not wilting under the pressure. And it just shows you how much more they have come into the game, not so much in terms of possession, but touches in the opposition box, on goals as well. More Chelsea changes on the way after this player, Carter. Come on. Kirby. On half a mark with a foul.
It is a foul, but I think what they're doing, at least they're getting closer to Fran Kirby. They're not letting her direct everything, which she very much did in the first half. So did Cankovic.
Well,
and then you've got these two to come on.
Yeah. Something that Reading knew was entirely a possibility. I mean, in fairness to Reading, they're probably thinking, well, at least it's not Lauren James. Jessie Fleming, Canada international. Sam Kerr, Australia captain. No goal tonight for Beth England, but she's worked incredibly hard, as she always does, for the team. Player you know well, Sue?
Yeah, it is, and she always works hard for the team. Her movement's very good, and I think sometimes that goes unnoticed, the way that she drags players out of position defensively, which allows other players to go in and fill those spaces. But yeah, she'd have wanted a goal, but decent performance from her.
Got no hat-trick for Jelena Cankovic tonight, but she's done okay with 2 goals from midfield on her first WSL start. Jessie Fleming there, also coming on, and Canadian. She won't be entirely a stranger to the snow. McCandy, such an experienced professional. Good players to bring off the bench, Rachel Rowe and Emma McCandy for Reading. We also have Natasha Dowie as well, amongst others. Tends to be a pretty youthful bench, but those are players of experience.
They've got quite a nice blend, haven't they, of those young players that are coming through, and you can see them developing and progressing, but they've got that experience as well, I suppose, to learn from.
Yeah, Natasha Dowie with 5 goals for England from her 14 caps. And played in so many countries as well, different type of experience.
Yeah.
And Chelsea now have had their pride dented, looking to reassert their authority on this game. Nothing if not battlers, Reading. There's more to them than that, of course, plenty more. You have to give them credit.
Yeah.
Millie Bright, England centre-half, organising the defence. Started all of those matches in the summer when she became European champion. Cuthbert with a strike. Still Reading unable to get it away, and Jackie Burns gratefully pounces on it.
Yeah, when the corner comes in, Reading Park clear, but look at the desire to close down, to not give them an easy attempt on goal.
Candy under pressure from Fran Kirby. She knew it was a foul. And McCandy, having got married in the summer and also given birth last year to her daughter Innes. Up to now after Natasha Harding departed the club. Jackie Burns away by Bright. Cuthbert breaking pass, finding Sam Kerr. Now what can Sam Kerr do here? She has support from Ritten Kanerud to Kerr. Defending though by Rowe. Read the danger. Pretty much know what Sam Kerr is going to try to do. Whether you can do anything about it is another matter.
Well, that's just what they have to be aware of. You can see she's always wanting to play on the shoulder. She tries to pull off that back defender and use any sort of space that's created in beyond. And we know that Chelsea have got the players to find that sort of movement.
Sam Kerr a mere hat-trick away from 50 WSL goals. What a signing she was from Chicago Red Stars. Perisset missed that, but Bright was there. And Cooper's missed that, and that's an invitation. Ritten Kanerud had got on a bike. They by Evans. Well, Reading want to try to keep that pressure on after those 2 goals in quick succession. It'd have to go down as one of the great WSL comebacks, wouldn't it? If they came back from 3-0 down at Chelsea.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely would.
I think Reading will also sense that Ann-Katrin Berger hasn't been at her best tonight.
Yeah, probably, and they will have seen the mistake midweek as well and said, you know what, test her when we get a chance to do that. You know, the first one was definitely an error. The second one, could she have done better? I don't know. I think she was at full stretch. I think it was a decent finish into the corner.
She was certainly wrong-footed for the second one from Eikeland, and it's Lauren Wade who makes way.
Tell you what, I know Emma Harris gets all of the plaudits, and rightly so, but she has worked so hard off the ball as well.
Yes, the Northern Ireland international, signed from Glentoran in the summer. We haven't talked a great deal about her, but we often don't when players working super hard for the team but don't necessarily see a lot of the ball in possession. And it's a corner for Reading. There'll be plenty of neutrals at home rooting for the underdog here. It would be an incredible achievement if they were to come back, but let's see what they can do first. Well, they have the height of Van Havermaet. She would love the ball to come to her. Charlie Wellings just off the bench. Near post. And he's back in by Wellings. Hooked goalwards by Van Havermaet, but Chelsea managed to bring the ball away. Now they're looking to spring forwards. Ritten Kanerud. First time to Millie Bright, who's made the run in towards Sam Kerr. And it was inches away from Kerr being able to connect. Oh, what a goal that would have been for Chelsea, but still the pressure's on. Kerr. Away by Rowe and by Van Havermaet. Rowe once again, but Cuthbert with it. You cannot take your eyes off this game now for the last 14 minutes or so, plus stoppage time. Kerr. Fleming, substitute. Perisset. Kirby in far too much space from a Reading perspective. Ever intelligent Cuthbert. Carter. Ericsson forwards for Ingle to chase, but too much on it.
That was really unlucky from Chelsea. Such a quick break. The way that they go from defence to attack so quickly. And who's your right winger there? It's Millie Bright, your centre half. And this is a brilliant delivery into a good area. And Sam Kerr just can't get onto the end of it. But it's just the pace at which they go from defending a corner to attacking. And they get numbers forward. But really, really good quick break from the right winger, Millie Bright.
She can play anywhere, can't she? Oh, there you go. Guru Wright, a player in fantastic form this season with 9 assists to her name. And plenty more besides.
She was
That'll give the Reading defence something to think about. Sorry,
yeah,
Sue.
No, sorry, she was outstanding against Leicester, Jack.
Norwegian international. You'll know Amalia Eikeland well. Player scored the 2nd goal for Reading tonight. Equally Norwegian. Harries. Here is Eikeland. Rowe. You see the grit and determination from Reading. They're not interested in the big names from the Chelsea side or the medals they've been dangling around their necks. All they care about is competing. Trying to get back from 3-0 down and take something from this game. And Shritin Kanarud, we're hearing, will be going off. And Hayes critical of her side on Thursday at Real Madrid, saying they were asleep. They haven't been asleep tonight, but they perhaps had that period. Well, they switched off. A minute and a half, just less than that, allowing Reading back into the game. Although I'd rather give the credit to Reading. You did say there'd be goals in this, Sue.
I did.
You got something right,
Yeah.
hey?
Yeah, it's my one for the season.
Between us. There's one. Here's Hanni Scholsgaard. Didn't expect to receive the ball there. She has Harries with her. She's already created 2 goals. What can she do here? Harries straight onto the head of Bright and away by Cuthbert. Already know it's a rich pipeline for them. Down that right-hand side, and Harries wanting more and more of the ball. Here is that substitution of Zora Wrighton coming on. Fellow Scandinavian Johanna Rytting-Kanerud. Saw plenty of at Euros in the summer. And what a talent this player is. She's an absolute joy to behold, unless you're a right back, I would imagine.
Yeah. Just looks like Fran Kirby's gone over to the right-hand side and Gura Wright can come on this left-hand side. But, yeah, just the amount of assists that she's got. Incredible. Real threat.
And she's created 25 chances in the WSL this season, as well as her 2 goals and 9 assists. And already into the thick of the action.
Yeah, I just wonder, has Cooper got away with one here? Oh no, it is a trip. Yeah, she's come into the game straight away, Gura Wright, and wants to try and make an impact. Trying to win the ball back in that attacking third.
Well, we've already had 5 goals. Well, we could well be in for a few more because both these sides have scored the joint most late goals in the last 15 minutes of games, along with Manchester United this season. Oh, look, there's a graphic just to prove I wasn't lying.
It's a good job you wasn't.
It's a good job, isn't it? And Reading have scored 70% of their goals in the second half before this game. Can't do the maths to say what it'd be now. I'm sure somebody can. They've now scored 12 goals in almost 10 WSL games. But they do tend to leave it late. Maybe it takes them a while to warm up. Reading hunting an equaliser. Chelsea hunting a fourth goal to consolidate the 3 points and to consolidate their position at the top of the Barclays WSL table. Arsenal will be watching on. Manchester United, Manchester City and others will be watching on too. Not to mention near the bottom of the table, Ingle, Carter, Wrighton, Carter. If you're joining us late, it is as cold as it looks. And the playing surface has changed during the course of this game. The ball holding up now more with the snow that's settling on the pitch here at Kingsmeadow, southwest London. It's been such a fortress for Chelsea since they moved here. So tough to penetrate them, to score goals against them, but Reading have done that twice, but certainly to take points here. Here's Kerr against Cooper, who does well, does really well. Deanna Cooper.
Yeah, this is class defending from Cooper. Just as Sam Kerr's about to try and deliver it into the box. You can see Guro Wrighton coming in, but brilliant. Manages to get a leg round and keep the ball in play and then find a pass. Quality from her.
Knows this ground really well. Regular now in the Reading lineup. Sam Kerr off the bench for Chelsea. Cuthbert, always a willing runner in midfield. Now here's Wrighton, defending once again, this time by McCandy. This game really on a knife edge now. Something we didn't think we'd be saying not so long ago. We were talking about goal difference. And Chelsea wanting to rack up the goals from 3 to 4 to 5-0, as it has been in the last 3 wins against Reading. Not tonight, though. Well, a constant hassling and harrying from Reading players, initially winning the ball back, but it's a throw-in to Chelsea. That time Charlie Wellings, who was on the end of a 6-0 defeat to Chelsea when she was in a Bristol City shirt at Vicarage Road in the Continental Cup final. And Myron Mielder, the Chelsea defender, badly injured her knee. Well, Reading need to maintain the belief that they've had in the second half. It looks as though they have, and here's Lily Woodham, one of the Wales contingent in the Reading side. was from Fleming, given away straight away to Evans. Here come Reading again. Is there to be another chance in this game for them? They'll feel that there is. It's that drive and determination in the final third by Emma Harries in particular. To pull them back into this game. Chelsea currently on course for their 9th successive WSL victory, having lost at Liverpool on the opening day. They've responded incredibly well since then. To Wellings, away by Carter. Ingles underneath it. Evans. Reading want to get the ball up the other end. Cooper on it short, it's held up on the surface for Burns. And Kerr was lurking. They won't be wanting to take any risks at either end. No. The surface as it is.
Yeah, and you could see the ball holding up as well, couldn't you? You know, as Cooper plays the ball back, Sam Kerr, that's what she thrives on. Waits for a pass back, a mistake, but Burns does well. She reacts, gets off a line quickly and clears it.
Carter the throw. Every time Reading get the ball now, they'll be thinking, is there another chance in this for us? Can we get it perhaps to Emma Harries? Free kick. Rachel Rowe. Still no hat though. A hood's not the same as a hat, is it? Hey. It is stronger stuff than us, that's for sure. Kelly Chambers, the Reading manager, who's done such an incredible job. Lots of incredible jobs, actually, within the same club. And here is Emma Harries again, but runs into trouble in the shape of England defender Carter. Here's one for Kerr to chase. And Evans has come across. And the Reading defence has been pulled apart now. First time from Kirby, in towards Kerr. Tried to find Kirby again, but the offside flag is up. They're asking, who was that against?
Yeah, she's saying, is that Fran Kirby, is it me? She doesn't believe that she is. Again, it's a good quick break. Reading have made sure that they're committing players forward. They're desperate to get that equaliser. I don't know who's offside, because that picture says that Sam Kerr is definitely still on.
It's tricky for us to tell. The assistant, in fairness, is looking along the line, which we're not.
Very true.
Okay, give them the benefit of the doubt. Nobody else will. Well, here's Harries for Reading. Just for a second, she thought she might have been in there. Perisset's come across. Here's Fleming. Well, with the way this ball is running, it could seriously affect the game in the last few moments as Evans got there, but only holding play up. Here's Kerr. Fleming screaming for it in the centre, and here's Kirby. What a vital interception from Rachel Rowe, who's been outstanding since coming on.
Yes.
And here's Wellings. Wellings has 3 players around her, one of them being Cuthbert. And we'll have 5 minutes at least added on at the end here. He's Reading desperate for an unlikely equaliser. Unlikely from half-time, that is, not necessarily from now. Chelsea have some work to do to avoid the wrath of their manager at the end. What will Emma Hayes be thinking in this second half, Sue?
Well, that Reading have got themselves back into the game, like we said, that they've certainly got the capability of doing it. But I think she'll be disappointed with the goals conceded in terms of a little bit sloppy.
Is that a concentration thing?
Yeah, you've got to praise Reading. And how they've managed to turn it around, that work rate, that determination, but the quality as well that they've shown and the positivity.
Will be congratulating Reading, but she'll be thinking more about her players and what they could have done better, perhaps.
Yeah, and it is, like you say, you can't be sloppy like that. First goal was an error from Berger. Yeah, she's not had much to do, but you've got to remain focused.
Candy back to Burns, and this is tricky for her. I think Jackie Burns will be wanting too many back passes of any description at the moment. I'm just thinking back to the first goal, which was offside for Chelsea. I just wonder whether that'll be part of Kelly Chambers' post-match thoughts, which we'll hear here on Sky Sports with Jess Crichton. So into stoppage time now, Sue. What are you thinking for player of the match?
Well, I think I have to go with Emma Harrison. I know she may be on the losing side, but I just think her determination, her quality to help her side get back into the game, thoroughly deserved.
Well, she has some defending to do now. Chelsea with the corner. Oh, you'd want to be testing a goalkeeper now, wouldn't you? Because they won't be enjoying what's in front of them. Sort of conditions where errors can be made, and you'd rather be as far away from your own goal as possible. Although Chelsea, I think, would be quite happy to eke out a few more seconds to ensure the 3 points. Kirby. I'm delighted if the next couple of minutes are spent down in that corner. And the seconds are ticking away. Chelsea managing the game. I've got to talk, it's so cold. But carefully. 90 seconds remaining. And Chelsea so close now to another precious 3 points. However they come, they can form an inquest later as to defensive instability for a couple of minutes. But frankly, all that matters from their perspective is to seal 3 beautiful points, which will keep them top of the table, keeping Arsenal at bay for a little bit longer, though they have a game in hand. And now it's a goal kick, and they'll be looking to pump that ball up the pitch, you would imagine. As things stand, Chelsea top with 27 points, 3 points clear of Arsenal, who have that game in hand. And it would be 9 wins in a row. They are just seconds away from that. But another goal would make them feel a little bit better about life. Kirby, so instrumental in the first half as they race to that 3-goal advantage, scoring the opener from a quickly taken free kick. And then 2 Jelena Cankovic goals in the first league start for a new club. Looks to have sealed those 3 points. They need to pump the ball forwards. They need to get it up. They need to hold it up. If they can get it to Harris, she can hold it up. Here's Perisset. And there is the final whistle. It's all over. We didn't think at half-time that Chelsea would be holding on. And they managed the game well at the very end of added time. 3-0 up at the break. And Kelly Chambers' side came back after Frank Kirby's goal, which had an offside in the build-up. Jelena Cankovic, the Serbia midfielder, with 2 goals, putting them in command and ultimately giving them the 3 points, which have made it 9 successive WSL victories over a Reading side who really competed well. Eikeland and Trollsgaard were the goals in the second half. And Kelly Chambers will be delighted with the battling qualities with her side. All over here at Kingsmeadow, it's finished Chelsea 3, Reading 2.
Jackie, Sue, thank you. Go, warm up, safe journey home. Karen, firm with me in the studio. How glad are we're not at Kingsmeadow right now. Have they got a little bit of a let off the hook? You know, breathing a sigh of relief after that one, Chelsea second half?
I think so. I mean, we said at the start of the show with the changes, but in particular with the weather. I think the weather played a massive impact in terms of, very unlike Chelsea, not to defenders to get out to the ball a little bit quicker, and mistakes, and Berger as well, a slippy surface, and credit to Reading, kept everything low and caused problems with it. But I think you hit the nail on the head, Emma. I'll be thinking, got 3 points, everyone get in warm and we go again in the midweek.
So right with those big games coming up as well for Chelsea. Don't want to get any injuries, trying to protect themselves, and getting through that second 45 could prove so crucial for them, Fern.
Yeah, definitely, and as you say, they did get through it. Obviously, Reading made it really tough for them. I think they were forcing them into unforced errors. They pressed really high, they pressed really aggressively. When they got 1 goal back, they saw, you know, a little glimmer of light, a glimmer of hope, and then obviously 2 came into it, and they continued to push and to press. And yes, conditions made a difference. But I think Reading had just a little bit of a not-to-lose mentality today and caused them problems across the pitch. Chelsea will be very happy that they've obviously got the 3 points and won the game, and they'll learn from the errors and the defensive mistakes that they made on the goals.
Big 3 points then for Emma Hayes' Chelsea. We'll get continued reaction from Kingsmeadow to come then. But that concludes the final weekend of the WSL this season. Chelsea unbeaten at home in 2022. A couple of games falling to the weather already today. It was 1-1 in the Manchester derby. United were ahead in that one. City pegged them back. West Ham 2-0 winners at Spurs. Arsenal 4-1 at Aston Villa. Villa were ahead in that one. We'll get more reaction from that match too. And Chelsea 3-2 winners over Reading. And that leaves your table heading into 2023 looking like this. 23, that's key. That's the goal difference for Chelsea at the top of the table. Played a game more than Arsenal in second. Manchester United finished the year 3rd in the table. Leicester still looking for their first points of the season. That's the WSL then, as we put the snow behind us. Week 14 in the NFL, just a couple of months out from the Super Bowl. Perhaps a slightly different weather as the Buccaneers are at the 49ers. That's next on Sky Sports Main Events. And you can get back to nature with Tom Hardy. There's a game show in that. It's now, though, a nature series. Predators, all about survival on Sky Nature. Talking of survival, Chelsea did just, and they go home with all 3 points. 3 points clear at the top of the table. Blue is the colour, and at Kingsmeadow, that's just the extremities.